This is actually, I don't know if Penny's here tonight. We did a presentation for her a couple of years ago, actually, about this work. Gives you an idea of how long it takes to actually hit the ground. So we do expect that this contract is done. The work and the scope and everything that has to do with it is already set, and we're due to come out and finish this work. So again, any questions?
How much of a heads up will we get prior to the start of work?
Well, it should be at least a few weeks. The contract started about 2 months ago, and it's a 12-month duration. So within the next few weeks, we'll have a schedule. We can then come back and be ahead of the process before they actually have a presence in that area. Oh, we do have a community construction liaison on this job. Some of you may or may not be familiar. We had a DDC job around Lincoln Center. As many of you remember, we had a community liaison there. Her name was Sanchi. Sanchi is back for this project, and she will be in front of you guys for the detailed presentation the next time we come through.
Just out of curiosity, on the map, what is the difference between the MEDs and the
All right, so the larger map was just to kind of show all of CB7. Most of what is indicated there are completed projects, and then it also has this current one, the pedestrian safety job. I believe, actually I don't have that with me, let me take a look. There is a job, you see MED 619, and that is for due for fiscal year 2018. Fiscal year begins in July. That doesn't mean that contract's coming out right in July. We can have a better idea of when it will be in this area, but not until July.
You have one on the map shown for fiscal year 2012. Has that been completed?
Yeah. It's really MED 619 that is in the future, 2018, and the pedestrian safety job that is more current.
Anyone have any questions on this pending, at long last, project at Lincoln Square there? 70th,
well,
71st?
We are getting a building on between 69th and 70th in Amsterdam. So
West side of Amsterdam.
west side of Amsterdam.
Okay.
So it would be helpful to know this so we can they're
Sure.
I don't know when they're starting construction, but right now they're excavating.
Okay.
So it'd be helpful to make sure that the street's not blocked for long.
Sure, absolutely. And I'll actually flag that to the resident engineer and the field office staff as quick as tomorrow.
Right.
And let them know that they should get out there and at
It's
least
200,
start some
200
groundwork.
Amsterdam.
It'll be good to coordinate that sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rich, you have a question?
Yeah, a dumb question, but what projects does DDC do? How do you fit in? I assume you're coordinated with DOT.
Yes.
When are they working on their
This is
own?
a
When are they
DOT
working with
sponsored job.
DDC?
Yeah, so the Department of Design and Construction is the design and construction branch of the city. So we do, well, as far as infrastructure work, our client agencies, if you will, are DOT and DEP, on occasion parks, but not so much. And what they do is fund a project that they determine what in the general scope what they want done. They bring it to DDC, and we take it from the design process through bidding, through construction and completion.
But
So
they're doing all the other projects that they've come to us with. They're doing themselves. What are the projects when they do it? What's the distinction between when they do things themselves and when they use?
Yeah, they have like for example, DOT does their own milling and paving jobs. That was something that DDC did for them, but they took that back. So really, they determine what jobs that they take on. Usually, the larger jobs are the ones they pass to DDC. So again, don't feel like this is your only opportunity to ask questions. If you have anything that comes to mind after tonight, you can certainly email me, and we will be back to give you more details before we actually begin in this area.
So you'll get in touch with Penny?
Yes, absolutely.
Typically, how soon before the start of construction are you aware of it and can tell the community board?
Yeah, usually what will happen is the contractor is required to give us a 2-week schedule, right? But we'll know before that 2-week period what his intentions are and how soon they may move to this area and start to mobilize. You know, it's not, you just don't wake up one day and we've, you know, taken over the area. So the contractor will begin to slowly mobilize. They do what they call test pits, which are small excavations to uncover what's beneath the ground in a small area. So it starts off relatively slow and then it starts to ramp up after that. So that is to say, we'll know, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks before they actually have a presence in this area. And we'll come to you before they do set up or mobilize.
Great.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, the next item, we're pleased to have Zach Campbell and Bill Montanile from New York City Transit here. We're going to move because this is a presentation on the Upper West Side, 3 enhanced station initiative stations along Central Park West. I just closed the, yeah.
There we go. Excellent. Thanks very much. My name is Zach Campbell. I work in government relations for New York City Transit. I'm going to be very brief because Phil's really the guru when it comes to the Enhanced Station Initiative. We're here tonight to present a package of 3 different stations that will be getting a series of upgrades, all in CB7. With that, I'm just going to take a look.
All right, thank you. As Zach said, my name is Bill Montanile. I'm the program manager for the Enhanced Station Initiative. Thank you for allowing us to bring this important project to you to let you know what's going on in your stations. The Enhanced Station Initiative is a governor's mandate that includes a new approach to rapidly transform 33 subway stations throughout the system. The initiative will leave its mark on every station in every borough, subway, elevated, and open cut. The focus of my discussion this evening is on Package 3. Okay. Just some facts and figures about the contract. The contract was awarded to a construction company, Echo 3, with Hardesty in Hanover and Lee Harris Pomeroy as their design professionals. It is a design build contract. It was awarded on October 25th. The substantial completion for all 4 stations, there are 4 stations in this contract, is December 2018. It was awarded for $111 million construction-wise. The breakdown for the 3 stations that you're interested in, Cathedral Parkway, 110th Street, gets about $30 million worth of work. 86th Street, $28 million worth of work. And 72nd Street gets about $25 million worth of work. And that work is both state of good repair and also enhancements, which I'll go into a little bit in the presentation. Just a summary of all four stations. The bottom 3 are the ones I'll be discussing today. We characterize Cathedral Parkway Underground Station, 2 side platforms, a smaller size mezzanine and visible express tracks. 86th Street and 72nd Street, similar stations underground, stacked platforms, no mezzanines and no connections. The initiative will focus on the continued responsibility of providing a state of good repair in stations and dramatically change the look and feel of the station. State of good repair includes waterproofing the structure. Water is probably the #1 enemy of an underground structure and of an elevated structure. We will be repairing concrete floor topping, repairing concrete spalls, repairing steel. The stations will all receive, where they are not landmarked, rehabilitated station entrances. Customer improvements include guardrails with an integrated freestanding digital totem or a digital information sign. I have some renderings of what we're proposing later on in the presentation. Countdown clocks at the street level. We have our ESI, Enhanced Station Initiative, signature blue terracotta tile at all the entrances. That's on the wall tile, LED illuminated handrails, and the existing heat, so the high entry exit turnstiles will be replaced with low turnstiles. There is one entrance that is exit only now at one of the stations that will remain exit only. Yes. The mezzanine at 110th Street will receive new LED lighting and digital dashboards will be installed. At the platform level, improvements include the removal of ceiling paint at all the Enhanced Station Initiative stations. We are removing the ceiling paint. It's just a maintenance nightmare. You will never see paint peeling again. Digital dashboards, again, digital screens on the platform level, LED lighting, and artwork.
One question.
Yes.
The street level countdown clock and the digital platform, they don't have to wait for the out front advertising?
Not at all. No, we're connected to what's called our PS LAN and the beacon, if it's beacon here. I don't know which one it is, but no, we do not have to wait for out front. Out front will be coming on later on to install digital advertising screens.
But they were paying for the additional countdown clocks as well. That's what we were told.
Not, I'm putting them all in.
Great.
Other improved customer amenities throughout the station, countdown clocks, multiple countdown clocks on the mezzanines and the platforms, so you can see them. I know in the newspaper there was some, I think we put one at a station. I don't know why, but we will not have that here. And a chance to declutter the station, where possible, routing the conduits along the ceilings and the wall in one large conduit for better aesthetics. This will be done, as I said, with the design build delivery method. Design build is the process whereby one single contractor is responsible for both the design and the construction of the project. It allows the construction to start much sooner than our traditional design bid build projects, and it meets the governor's challenge that he made to the MTA to get in, get done, and get out. To do all this work in the shortest amount of time, part of the ESI is that each station initiative will be fully closed for a period of less than 6 months for these 3 stations to perform the major construction work. The closures, as you can see, will commence in April, and they will be staggered 1 month apart. So at a single point in the contract, all 3 will be closed at the same time. And the contract allowed for 6 months with the competition of a design build project delivery method. The winning contractor came in at much less than 6 months. So
in the case of 72nd and 86, where you have stacked platforms, I understand the total closure. Why couldn't 110th Street be done one side and then the other? Just out of curiosity.
We wanted to be the shortest amount of time. And for design build, we need to give the contractor the entire station so that they can't point fingers at MTA to say, hey, you're holding us up because you give me a certain area.
The trains will then run express.
They'll run express. They'll bypass the station. They won't run express. They'll bypass the station. Yes. Okay. We will be requiring diversions to do some of the platform work that is near the track, the platform edge work. We're also doing some waterproofing over the tracks. Weeknight and weekend train diversions or general orders will be required. A total of 18 weekend diversions. That's 9 on the northbound, 9 on the southbound, and 40 weeknight diversions, 20 on the northbound, 20 on the southbound side will be required. And typically during a diversion, if my work is the only work going on, if the ESI work is the only work going on, the B and the C train will run express between 59th Street, Columbus Circle, and 125th Street, again, only on one side, and customers will be able to back ride to the next adjacent non-ESI station. All right, so I gave you the facts, the figures. What's this all going to look like when we're done? Let's start 110th Street. Here's your existing entry. We have the KA rails, the green globes. Now we're going to get the ESI treatment here. So here's our proposed entry. Includes a new canopy, stainless steel handrails with integrated LED lights, our signature blue terracotta wall tile that announces the entry from the street. Here's our digital totem. This is a 55-inch digital screen, customizable with information that could go on there. It could be a neighborhood map. It could be a service change. It's really customizable from our rail control center, the information that can go there. This is a granite stone entry. Here you have your countdown clocks. All the services running good in this rendering. Be surprised, I had to tell them to do that. A glass canopy top, and the railings are gone, and we have a new glass balustrade railing around it. All LEDs. Yes. That is not an LED, no, but that takes the place of those green globes. I'll check. I don't know.
I mean, I think for purposes of people coming to the
Green indicates 24 hours.
Right. But I'll check it. It should be an LED. I'll confirm with that.
And is there advertising on the display? And if so, who gets the revenue?
There's a potential for advertising. This is that outfront contract that we have a provision for it. We will not provide it, but the canopy, the design of my canopy will be able to support a digital screen coming on later. All right, this is the existing, another existing entrance. We're quite a bit limited to what we can do here. I did ask my architect, what do we call this? I said, I'm trying to explain what is that, and they said that's an information code. And I said, I don't think so. There's no information on there. So I don't know what to call this, but it's coming down. Okay, that's the new one. Again, a 55-inch digital screen. Again, because of the proximity to the park, we're very limited with the integration or the intervention. I'm sorry, that we can do here.
You should be careful about the countdown clocks and how they're done, because I reported at Lexington in '86, Outfront was not aware of this. They were giving both uptown and downtown arrivals on either side, and there's no free crossover.
Right, exactly.
So some of these, like 100, some of these. The ones where you can cross over, it's fine. But the ones that you cannot, they just be in that direction.
We do have a process with that. Our Package 1 station in Brooklyn did not have a crossover, so we made sure that we were not showing the uptown arrival. Yes.
Quick question. You're in a landmark district here. The LPC also have?
Yes, they have our complete the designs, and they have weighed in on it. Yes. SHPO also.
Any other questions?
Absolutely. Because we're going to get into other
I've
parts.
got a lot of questions. But I thought I was going to make sure the
I just got more questions. You're with a solar building, you side I think for a new sign, it needs to be, those stones need to be cleaned up. And I'm just concerned about the other people. I think that's good.
I'll check that.
It'll definitely be visible.
How do you provide power to that?
There's power to the existing one now. We're using the same power.
Yeah, like
This is existing entrance adjacent to a building. Again, a typical railing. Obviously, this will not get a canopy. Now, this is a rendering of a new entrance. It is not the one at 110th Street. It's from 72nd Street. But this is a typical intervention of a staircase that's adjacent to a building. You have your digital totem, some ad space later on. Again, stainless steel handrail. You'll hear this throughout my presentation with LED lighting, blue terracotta tile going down the station. And again, it's not shown here, but a train arrival time on the other side, visible from the other side.
You're actually looking at agreement at some point between folks along Central Park West and New York City Transit that would not have ads on Central Park West.
Okay.
Actually on Central Park West. They have ads at 86, 87, and those were done away with because they didn't see it like it's a landmark street. So, it's scenic glim. So
But if that agreement is in place, it still remains. Again, these ads are later on that we were showing these renderings. We wanted to bring what the complete picture might look like, but if there's an agreement, those ads would definitely not be there. Here's the existing mezzanine. We kind of try to patch the floor here. Here's your painted ceiling. So what it becomes is a new, actually, this will be granite flooring here, new LED lighting, removal of all the clutter. My architects did take some poetic license and didn't show any conduit, but there will be some conduit there. We do have to run power and speakers here. We have our Wi-Fi here. We will be stripping the paint off the columns and repainting them. We do have to repaint steel. It actually protects it a little bit better.
showing the same path.
Yes,
They haven't made much fun.
because they love the view, that's why. We are moving the turnstile slightly, about a foot or two, to increase the unpaid area side. LED lights again. I have a better rendering on the next slide, but over here, gone are the iron gates that separate the paid from unpaid. I'll show you that. And we have what we're calling a dashboard wall. Multiple digital screens. This happens to be 3 alongside that's a static subway map. These screens can pull in the adjacent next available bus time, and we'll be pulling in information from that. Again, these screens are all customizable.
Are they touch screens or are they interactive?
They are not touchscreen interactive. So this is just from the paid side. Like I said, gone are the full height bars. I think this is 4'10". These are glass barriers. Your turnstiles will be here. And again, we're calling attention to, we're calling the bulkhead, calling attention to the turnstile area. So that, we hope to roll out the ESI program to every station. I know it's a big, thing to do, but we want everyone to know, hey, when you see the bulkhead, that's where your turnstiles are. Existing platform and a rendering of the new platform. The platform concrete gets cleaned. We are not putting granite down at the floor. LED lighting again here. Your low glass again there. Decluttering of the conduits. We will be repairing the wall tile throughout the entire platform on all 3 stations. We have a historic match to color-wise to the tile that we're using. Not seen in this rendering, we will have digital information screens in multiple locations on the wall, and also not seen are the train arrival, the countdown clocks, train arrival countdown clocks. All right, let's go a little bit further south to 86th Street. Existing, again, adjacent building. And we've seen this again. This is again 72nd Street, typical highlight. And again, in general, your high entry exit turnstiles all become low turnstiles, including the exit only. There will be just that low glass in that exit only stairwell. Existing control area, and hey, that looks exactly like the other one. We're trying at 110th Street. So. Same thing. The only difference here at 86th Street is we will not be providing granite, only because the control area goes right out to the platform. We will be cleaning the concrete here. That's the only difference. Existing platform and the new. Again, here's our new LED lighting. This is a consolidated wireway. We now put all our conduits, all our cables in here. It says multiple compartments for cables. We're taking a lot of the conduit off the ceiling. some conduit or things that you will still see on the ceiling, as we still need the antenna for the for our wireless stuff. So you still will see that. Again, not seen here, but there will be multiple train arrival countdown clocks and digital screens along the wall. 72nd Street. Hey, there's your existing station. Okay. Got a lot of mileage out of this one. And we all know what's happening here. Exactly the same thing. Not an adjacent building, no. The windows would be in the way, and it just, the team obviously could not put it down. Control area. It looks like once we get the first station done, the rest will be cake. They're all look exactly the same. Again, we expect exactly. We do expect the repetitiveness of this contract to help us with the construction duration in the later stations. But everybody can give this presentation now. We're going to clean the floor, decluttering, LED lights, digital screens. Again, the existing platform. And this is the proposed platform. Now we're showing, here's our consolidated wireway. Paint is gone. Hey, they did give me a comment. Very good. We have, this is representative of some of the art that will be put in the stations, and we will be cleaning and replacing these tiles. The platform edge gets a new tactile edge warning strip also. They are, yes. Good eye, very good. Those are new trash receptacles. They are rectangular. This is a new bench that we have, that the team has come up with. They also, I don't see it in there, but somewhere on there, there'll be those leaning bars that my architects want to put in. We are not replacing any of the benches with leaning bars. As many benches that were there will remain new. We will just be adding leaning bars.
What are the leaning bars?
That's a good question. They're
Make your way off.
exactly. They're made to come up to the middle part of your body so that you can lean on it basically and not sit.
And this is the new feature.
Yes, it's at our first station.
Are there parking stations?
Yes, every one of these digital screens where the subway map are will have 3 charging stations there.
Outside.
Inside also, in the mezzanine and the platform. But you have to bring your own cord. We don't provide cords. All right, and I think that's all I have. I mean, that's the gist of what we're going to do. I'll take any questions from anybody.
I had a few questions. One, I'm really confused about the closures. Are the closures only overnight or for
No.
almost a 6 month
The
period?
closures are 24/7 bypasses of the station.
From like July until
From
June.
yes, for less than 6 months. Each one's a little bit different, but yeah, it will be a full closure. It allows the contractor to go in there, double shift at times, triple shift. They'll work 24/7. Obviously, we need to meet the noise ordinances, so we won't be jackhammering in the middle of the night. But it does allow the contractor to get the work done as quickly and efficiently as possible.
And you couldn't do, I mean, this seems like a major imposition. People who rely on certain stations, particularly disabled, you couldn't be done on the weekends?
That was our old way of doing business. This initiative is to try and do something different. Can this be done on weekends? Without a doubt, but I'd be in your neighborhood for probably 4 years. I'm a nice guy, but you don't want me in your neighborhood for more than 4 years, okay? So this one, less than 6 months, yes, there will be some pain or a little different way of doing things for those 6 months. But I think when you see what we will give you at the end, especially with the Enhanced Station Initiative, you will like that in the end.
So what was the chart about the overnight? Was something had a lot of 20s on it?
Yes, the diversions will close on one side, multiple stations from 59th Street to, what I say, 125th Street.
So to that point though, about the,
Yeah, right.
Right. So for 9 weekends on the northbound side, trains will not stop trains will stop at 59th Street, and then the next stop will be 125th Street for 9 weekends on the northbound side, 9 weekends on the southbound side. Alternated, not at the same time.
And then there'll be buses to bring people back?
No, you'll be able to go up, if you're bypassing a station, you'll go up to 125th Street and then take the local down to the next non-ESI station. Don't forget, both sides of the ESI station will be closed, so you'll have to go to the next station.
but to that effect, about the 6-month duration of the closure, by closing the station, it gives us some other advantages as well when we look at doing some of the work like waterproofing. And, you can talk to this a little bit more, but when the station's closed and we're doing some of the waterproofing work, it really allows us to identify what the target locations are and really work on that, as opposed to trying to do it over the weekend and having to then reopen the station. And if we're not in the right spot, and potentially continue to do exploratory work, it really lets us get in there, do all the work that's necessary.
So you couldn't shorten it by, for instance, like 86th Street has 2 different entrances. You could close one entrance and work on that one. If you're just doing.
We're working on the entire platform on every control area.
Yeah, but you're not doing, are you doing the whole thing simultaneously?
Yes.
One of the things, another question, one of the things that really makes the subway look tacky is when there are service changes, and typically what's done is you just have a Xerox piece of paper that is taped up, saying, good luck, but your service is going to be disrupted for the next 3 minutes. Is that going to continue?
No, well, not at these stations. These digital screens can now show service changes, accurate service changes. So your week when they come out and tape up those 11 by 17 pieces of paper, they will not need to come to the station because every digital screen will be able to show them.
We'll tape it onto the digital screen.
No,
Yeah.
no, I didn't.
I would add, one thing that I found particularly nice about the first package that we did in Brooklyn, where we did some of these, was on the digital information signage. We were not only able to display subway information, but also connecting bus information, which at the platform level is really useful information for customers. If you're exiting, say, at the 86th Street station, you want to transfer to the M86 and you want to know when the next bus is arriving, you can have that information displayed at the platform.
What kind of notice are you going to be giving people who use these stations if the station's going to be closed?
About 2 to 3 weeks before we close it, we will be putting up vinyl signs in the station saying we're going to close for this long, this is what we're going to be doing. So that's normally what we do. I think 2 to 3 weeks. Matter of fact, we're doing 163rd starting in March, and I know some of these renderings are already going to our vinyl company.
To that effect.
Will there be any uptick in M10 bus service to compensate for this?
So on the M10, what we've done on some of the other stations where we were doing ESI-related work was we monitored the ridership on a relatively frequent basis. And if there was upticks in the ridership, we would increase some service there as needed. We'll be doing the same.
Is that bus and the 123 line?
No, this is.
So how are you preparing to deal with the visual increase in overflow from people who use it?
Yes. So we are anticipating people will take either the 123 or they will take some of the overline bus services. And if they take the overline bus services, we will be increasing service there.
In terms of frequency, it's
No.
already overcrowded, so
Understood.
and there are no there's not really any plans
The increased 123 service as it relates to this.
Is there any coordination with City Bus, which is another mass transit system?
You know, that's not a bad idea. We can reach out to them.
Okay, I just been kind of surprised that I had no plan to coordinate with the great, plan to increase it. I'm just curious why not, because everyone is going to be this way.
We can take that back and look at it, but as of right now, I don't think we can plans to increase the service.
When you did Fourth Avenue with Brooklyn, there really wasn't a parallel line. You're doing Astoria now, and depending on where you are, you can go to the R and the M, depending on where near the Astoria branch you are. Here you have where a lot of people are going to divert.
Or even the 59th and 81st, where there aren't, on the DC line, where there aren't going to be. Is there any plan in place to handle this traffic through there?
So again, on the subway side, we'll take it back and look at it. Our thought process and what we've seen in other locations was where people did divert, a lot of them diverted to bus service. And as such, we increased the service in those lines.
Michelle?
Understood.
What is your consideration for putting in elevators?
We have, Transit has a separate program for elevators, and this is just a different program. Everything we do here will not preclude the installation of elevators in the future, but this is just a separate program and the overall capital program.
To that effect, I think that there are certain ADA elements that are being added to the station without fully adding elevators, which are sort of a separate type of project.
No,
I don't know. I don't.
Peter? I certainly thought of the climate change with raising up the decking as leading into the stairs or covering over the stairs. I noticed the stairs become really dangerous during snowstorms.
I'll check. I thought I read somewhere that we are stepping up to come down. I'll have to confirm that here. Right. But also, we have done I guess a vulnerability study of our low-lying stations. These are not in there. I do have one or two in the ESI, but definitely these are not, but I'll have to get back to you on whether or not we have to step up.
Thank you. Then the decking for the roofing over, particularly the one next to the building, those are really dangerous during snowstorms, where the snow accumulates on the stuff and it becomes a slide.
They'll still be open to the weather. We're not putting canopies up.
And there's no way to look at that and alter that.
It's when it's adjacent to a building, you just can't.
Rich?
Is there any study of how many people are using these stations and where they're going to go? Is there any look at how many people we're displacing here for the
I
summertime?
can give you the statistics on the ridership from our annual ridership stats as it relates to some of the other stations in the system. Where they're going to go, I can't really tell you that. I don't think that we have that fully addressed to the extent where it would be 100% accurate. We have sort of assumptions that they'll switch to either bus or adjacent subway service, or potentially, as was mentioned, other modes.
Mhm.
But I can't accurately.
If you're on 83rd or 84th Street, it's not a big deal to walk to 81.
No, but we're shutting from 59 to 79.
Only 9 times. That's only on the weekend.
Nick?
About those stairs, any thought to heating the stairs? Because that will make life a lot better, and if you get a big lawsuit, it's going to be a lot more than it's going to cost to heat the stairs.
I'm a mechanical engineer, and when I started years ago was when the headquarters was at J Street Transit, and we had to get into the building was a garage that you had to go down, and we did a design as a little starting off mechanical engineer was perfect for me. Heat transfer. We put in hot water into this ramp to melt the snow. And when they turned it on the first summer, they did not realize how much oil or gas they needed to melt the snow. It's a very, very expensive proposition, putting snow melt in concrete, and that's why we don't do
It was a good idea.
It is. It's a very good idea. It's also very expensive.
Exactly. I mean, as a community board, what can we do to help get the word out about this? Because I can see already, like, so few of us, that this is happening so soon. Like, I have heard about it, but I didn't know it was happening so quickly. Are there things that we can do, and what's the public, like, how are we going about trying to inform?
Well, this is the beginning, obviously, the beginning of a dialogue between us. I'd like to come back. These are my renderings, or my team's renderings. I would love to come back. We have almost a complete design, but I would love to come back with the actual rendering, and they will be close. We're this is the third package, and we're zeroed in on exactly what we're looking for. But get the word out to residents or merchants. Say what a wonderful job Zach did tonight. Okay, you could start with that.
Has there been any thought about doing like a topic? I know with the L train, they have a public town hall, like is the community board helpful in trying to do something that I just feel like it's reaching a very small group of people right now, and it's going to be here before we know it, and you're going to have a lot of that.
Yeah.
Right, signage will be going on.
And to that effect, we'll have more customer communications that come out about that. We're happy to share some more of the information.
Yeah,
This
however
is
we can
really,
help push this out.
We can
Yeah.
put stuff up on our
This
website.
is, can you put the
this is
timing?
really the first step in our outreach process in many ways.
Here's a question for you. So on the B and the C and the A for overnight, only the C, the automated announcement, the R160 cars, for instance. All of the others rely on a conductor to make the announcement. I assume you will reprogram the 160s that are running on the C line to show these stations not in operation during this period, and the conductors will make the appropriate announcement.
Yes, yes. In package 2, we did. It says will not stop. It flashes will not stop. And in package 1, we had the conductors make the announcements.
Similar to the work you're doing on you did on McDonald Avenue. You had a lot of will not stop.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar
On
with
the,
With the Culver line?
Strip map.
the strip map will say will not stop. Yes, it will.
Any other questions for these gentlemen? I guess we'll like to finish product, but yes, sir.
What your station is here? You walk it down the ramp, you go down the ramp, and what location is this
Sure.
come down from?
Street level.
I'm going along with it.
What location, so where is it gonna be located there? That's what I would like to know.
As you're walking down.
Right here. That's your countdown clock. So as you walk toward the stair,
Yeah.
you will be able to say, hey, I can grab a bagel, or hey, train's on time, let me get down there. We ask that you not run from here. We want you to be safe but this will be the countdown clock right here. This is very, I mean, you can think about it, this is very similar to the ones you see on the platform right now, 2 lines. And I think a third line, a scroll on the bottom. That's exactly what that is. You'll have one right there.
That's gonna be in the field, what I'm
No.
saying is, where you gonna go get, okay, you're gonna let them go down the stairs.
It's not on the stairs.
It's
Right
outside.
on the side.
It's outside before you go down.
It's on the wall that you're.
My question is, if you put a countdown clock right on the side, you go down the stairs, I'm going down the stairs, the clock right on the side. Is the put that clock there?
No, sir, you're facing it. Right in front of you. It'll be straight in front, yes.
When you get down, this clock's gonna be all over the place. Yeah, sure.
Another question is, we'd like to mention that, and is there any consideration of a dedicated bus line or just
Well, the thing about that, and what we've looked at in other locations as well, is there's already an underlying bus route that runs the same stretch. So if we were going to see diverted bus ridership, it would be to that line, and we would just add service to that. So it wouldn't necessarily make sense to shuttle people from one station to another here.
Like you mentioned, dedicated bus line, that bus delays like double parked cars and all sorts of other stuff going on. So you say something different from what you're saying.
in terms of the
Dedicated
on-street bus lane,
Yeah.
that's unfortunately not in our jurisdiction. We can deal with bus service.
That would be a perfect subfloor. Fun, easy substitute for the train.
But yeah, so there's an underlying bus route that serves the same corridor, and we would look to add more service if we need. Off the top of my head, unfortunately, I can get back to you with that. I'm sorry.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. I think.
Thank you again. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
I think for one of the other. Yeah. 50 West 77th Street. Revocable consent. Is the applicant here for that?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, here it is.
I am hoping to have material in front of you, but we do. Yeah.
So this is by Stiletto Restaurant, correct?
That's right. Well, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. We have appeared before the board about a year ago. As part of a landmark application. Now we are before Department of Transportation.
Preservation Committee approved this
Preservation approved it.
as minimally acceptable, I think is the word Mark put.
Right,
So I guess we can pass it.
but it did pass.
It did pass, yes, it did.
And now they need a,
And it passed LCC.
It's always a problem with those things because they're ugly and there's nothing you can do about it.
Unfortunately, we have the added burden of trying to remove it from the stair that is both non-conforming.
I'm on preservation committee. I've been through this a lot of times, so I understand exactly what you're saying.
So we have to hold the stair.
People, can you talk outside?
When was the work begin?
For the start, get the little bit of hopefully,
Whatever we do tonight has to go to the full board. First Tuesday in March.
we're at least 60 days. Yeah, I think that you'll be taking another 30 days after that. We'll be there. Their review.
well, they can do a lot of.
Hopefully. We'd like to
So-
get it done this week.
But we're not looking for aesthetics.
No,
We're looking for,
We're looking for
practicality.
sidewalk clearance.
This is for
Yes.
is there any way we can just empower preservation to approve on our behalf? It's totally unfair to someone to
Say
have,
that again, please?
it's totally unfair to applicants to have to come before us twice for the same thing. Can we empower,
What probably should have happened was once this went to reservation and it involved sidewalks, and it was clear that DOT would have to approve too, that should have been a joint meeting.
yeah. It's just unfair to have to,
Like I said, this is minimally invasive.
Yeah, we're actually have to extend, I believe, another 1%. But we're certainly not the only place.
Yeah.
Extend over the property.
All questions? I'm willing to defer to that. All those in favor? All those opposed?
wait, people haven't seen it yet, so. This is in favor of it.
All those opposed? Anyone abstaining?
It's impossible to
No
do
problem.
something that has to be a certain size.
Not today.
Not today.
Oh, sorry. Two, any other non-planning board members?
Okay, so first Tuesday in March, Place to be announced. We have Roberta.
Yes.
No.
I don't think you have to go to the third meeting.
Would you like your sorry. Would you like your presentation back?
I didn't bring them, so I don't know how you got them.
No, they're
Probably
with
left
the
over.
community board.
Is someone here for 25 West 94?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Oh, good.
you didn't vote?
I also have a presentation.
You approved? So that's it.
Oh, is this a
What I remember.
We have a tiny printout, but we can show it on the screen because the font is quite small.
This is the Ford house.
This is the board's house. So, right, we've been here before for landmarks about 18 months ago. We have DOB approval, we have landmarks approval, we have conservation approval. We are in good shape.
You have that guy?
That guy's on board. And essentially.
Is he actually a resident?
He's not-
Is he the guy who was stuck in the subway for long enough?
Exactly.
Actually, there's a really nice story about how they want to do this, which I really like. You don't have to go into it.
Sure, yeah, pass it before on.
I remember this very clearly.
The goal for this project is to assist the owners to age in place. So that's why we're transforming this front area from its current condition. These are the renderings of what we're proposing. Current condition is there's actually a trash enclosure here too. There's some stairs that go down essentially to the what we call the garden level. And the owners want to ensure that they can either use a walker, as we saw in our rendering, or use a wheelchair to go down to the main entrance. We're installing.
Single family home or multiple?
It'll be 2-family. We're installing out there. The constraints are that we have to keep the existing wall where it is as per landmarks. So we're not extending, nothing's changing in terms of the impact, the scale of the space that we're so-called using for the city. You can see this dashed line here is the location of the property line. We're already in that unit. The front area and the steps are already on the property, DOT property, I guess. The change is simply interior to that existing wall. You can see the change in plan here in red. So there are steps on our property, but there is a ramp that goes down here, around, and this way. The half of the ramp is on the owner's property, and the other half is not. And then you can see the elevations here. This is the existing condition on the top, where you can see existing trash enclosure, existing fence. We're just improving the look of the fence on the outside, and then, as I said, installing a ramp below. This is showing from the inside what this planter / trash enclosure looks like that's behind the fence, which is also on the revocable consent property. It's simple. It's simple.
That's coming out of the street.
No, it's
We're not coming out in the street. No, the wall, why are we here? Good question. We're required to be here.
I don't know why you require, that's my, why are you required to be here?
This being a landmark block, did you have to go through the conservation?
Yeah, we've done all those things. Yes, we've gone. So DOT requires us to do a community presentation because DOT has, because we're applying for the revocable consent.
No, it's
If this is mover, it's
a sidewalk.
Sidewalk. Yeah.
It's on.
So
They
this,
need to do a permit, that's why.
yes.
Coming out.
We're
It's
required. My name's Elliot mostly. So yeah, so essentially this wall here is the existing wall. So we're not impeding further on the sidewalk. We're changing
They're
within
changing
that
internally. They're changing it so it's a ramp. They're
I'd like to call the
changing
question.
Yeah,
the
call the question.
And they build a new room here, Tucket House on the top.
All those in favor?
They would hear us in Nantucket. I know them from way back to school.
All those opposed?
All right, that's it.
Non-committee members, all those in favor?
Two.
And apologies that you had to come here. It's just crazy.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
You want it back?
Hope you got it back already.
How many more meetings do you have?
All right, thank you so much very much.
Okay, what's next?
Secondary school.
Of course.
So number 4 is something that we all don't have to move forward, is that correct?
Okay, if you want
I
to,
have a student here who wants to speak. And I want to
absolutely.
be able to
What
speak.
issue?
We're here for number 6.
We'll do 6 and 7 and then go back.
Absolutely. Why don't we just jump to number 6, request, it has to do with the daylighting, on the corner of 85th and 86th West End Avenue.
Yeah.
You're on.
Is that okay? Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
So we are here from the Metropolitan Montessori School on 85th Street. We've been before your committee before. Many of you were here then as well. Back in 2012, I wanted to hand out to you guys. This was the diagram from that time. Thank you. And then I only made 5 copies of this photograph that I've taken in the last couple days. Back in 2012,
Sorry.
we did a survey of our families and we identified some concerns that we all had, and we came up with 4 solutions that we presented to your committee. 2 of those solutions were implemented really quickly, and I think that helped a lot. One of them was getting leading pedestrian intervals on 85th and 86th Street and West End Avenue, which the whole community, I think, benefits from. Another of them was getting additional time to cross the street at 85th Street and West End Avenue. And I think that's made a big difference, not only for our families, but for anyone who walks in the neighborhood. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
I think so. So the third one was to daylight some intersections. We asked for a bunch of spots. We got a few. So I wanted to point out on your diagram, the spots that we've got, well, I'll go through. We're here tonight basically because those spots and the photos you see that I handed out, there are oftentimes cars and trucks parked in those spots. So they sort of don't do what they're supposed to do. And in fact, I think they make them more dangerous because usually it's car services and they come in and out. Yeah. And sometimes trucks like that U-Haul, and you cannot see around a truck. So we are coming to ask for bollards in a few of the spots so that cars cannot park in the spots. And those spots are P, N, and H. I don't know if you want to circle those on that diagram.
Why just those?
Well, I can tell you why. L was daylit, as was J and B. All 3 of those were also. Now L is a turning arrow, and people don't typically park there. They do sometimes drop off and pick up there really quickly, but people don't usually park there. And then, let's see, J and B, people usually don't park in either because they're hydrants right there. And I think people know not to park in front of the hydrant. They do sometimes. So, but it is now a turning arrow, so I don't know how you'd want to work around that, but they do sometimes. And in fact, I think maybe one of these photos, one of the photos I took in the last couple of days is of L, and there was a car parked there. And we'd also like you to reconsider daylighting C and D. Those spots are at 85th and West End Avenue, and they make a big difference for anyone crossing those 2 spots.
Those are currently not.
Correct.
And now it's just
No, there are no standing zones at all times. Yeah. So again, spots where we'd love to see bollards, P, N, and H, and then we'd love you to consider C and D. One of the students who came and spoke to you in 2012 was a 4th grader at the time, and he's now a little bit bigger, but he wanted to speak as well. So, Chumai, do you want to, if you would, on your head.
So, I'm Chumai. Last time I was here, I was in 4th grade. I used to be a student at MS. I graduated a few years ago. I still cross those intersections almost every day. And there are no standing signs there for some of them, but frankly, people don't obey a lot of them. And it is like daylighting does save people. Like it's very beneficial to safety for daylighting to prevent cars from parking there. Children still attend MMS. More children than ever cross those streets every day. Just for the sake of protecting them, it really would be beneficial.
And you live right on that corner too.
Yeah, I do live. Yeah, so that's why I thought this.
Yeah.
Either of you, if the vehicles that are parked in these spaces have somebody sitting in them, waiting for
Typically-
somebody, or they rent the vehicle?
No, typically they have someone sitting in the vehicle waiting. They do. It's still a no standing zone, so it's illegal to even do that. But yes, typically people do not park their cars there.
And if you've been observing this for a period of time, as I assume you have,
Yep.
typically how long is the vehicle in these places?
I really don't know. I mean, I drop off my kids and walk by, and I usually take photos. So
Young man,
I don't know. Do you know if they sit there for a while? I don't know.
Many of them don't. Quite a few of them probably do. They can sit there. I can't give you a number exactly. But
would you know if they were Ubers or Lyfts or for hire vehicles?
those tend not to
Does it
park in
matter?
those spots. They tend to double park for like 5 minutes.
They do double park, and I do see a lot of people dropping off and picking up their car services. And I do think they're more dangerous because they're paying attention to their fare, not paying attention to, am I about to run into a cyclist or,
Are there trucks as well?
Yeah, well, one of the pictures is a U-Haul, but yeah, they're the Baldor trucks that drop off and then they deliver to the, Broadway farms up on 86th or 85th and Broadway. So you definitely, one of our last, sorry, I didn't say, but we came here with 4 proposals. One of them was to create more loading zones, which we did try one, and it very quickly, one of the buildings got angry, and so I guess this committee got rid of it. But anyway, I think more loading zones are needed, but those spots we should still daylight all of our intersections.
So,
I'd like to add,
which of these are you asking that has not yet been daylighted? Which
C and D.
C and D?
Yeah.
East side of 84.
And I have the Parents Association as
Yeah,
well.
I just wanted to add just one thing because, this young gentleman is really eloquent and a great representative of our school, but he also is really big. I want to make sure you guys know that we have students as young as 2 years, 8 months going to our school. So a lot of them are really little and, little kids run out and maybe their parent wants to step into the road to see if it's safe and then the kid comes with and these are, like I said, and it's true what he said, that more and more students are attending school, it's getting bigger.
Why didn't you bring the young ones?
I actually tried to get my son to come, but he needed to go to bed.
Are you asking for daylighting and bollards or just daylighting for those new locations?
For those, I would always put bollards in personally, but I think that typically if you don't, people will use them as parking lots or stopping spots.
No, I know as somebody's going to speak that there's frequently vehicles in that, like which obstructs the view of turning.
It does, but then if you put bollards in that spot, it's harder to get people over to the right-hand lane to turn. So that's my only reservation with that spot.
Unless we have to increase enforcement area, like a
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an issue anytime DOT daylights, and I've got this issue around the corner from my apartment. They daylit a whole street on Riverside Drive, and so now instead of having parked cars there, we've got parked buses, and so it's a lot worse. And they refuse to put bollards up, but it's essential. If we have
one side got daylighted, the other side got bumped out, and there's always big cars there, but not really can't.
And Lexington traffic has gotten worse by day. Every day seems to be worse than it was the day before. There's so much traffic on Lexington. So it makes this much more dangerous.
You don't have to have bollards. You can put in bike parking.
You could put in bike parking or you could put in a city bike station, but for now I think bollards is get them in.
So what's the address?
325. 85th.
We also don't want city bike on 86th
Oh, I
Street,
see. Where the address?
on 85th Street.
I just know the school is going to ask.
The school has been asking for that. We've gotten one spot.
But the loading zones don't help because then
They
trucks
should ask
double
them.
park in the loading zone. They don't park in the loading zone. They park.
Call the
Yeah, they need a
question.
little education.
Well, you
Let's call the question. Let's,
So what are we gonna do here, guys?
I mean, traditionally, what we do when there's a request like this is we all go out and we look
Yeah.
at what we're talking about in the next month we vote on. Would that work for you?
That works for me.
Because, I
Yeah.
think we have to do our homework.
You have a, someone
Oh, yes,
TTC.
you did.
You
raised your hand.
No, I thought you were gonna call me up. Definitely call you. Okay, good. So you want to get there, start your story? I have a packet for you.
Please. Sorry, state your name again. State your name, please.
John Felissa. Something to interview. I know that you should take time. I can say a few words, please. I live on 85th Street. Okay? In the package you have, it's very good evidence why these daylighting initiatives don't work. Okay? And if you put ballots in, like ballots were suggested by the lady here, you're gonna have trucks and cars double parking in front of you. Okay? The facts accumulated over a long term of observation indicated it's obvious these signs are not working as intended and thereby of no intrinsic value to the neighborhood. Right? It seems that without constant enforcement, which there isn't, the areas cannot function as they are meant to and should be restored to what they were previously. Right? It was far better. First of all, I have over 500 observations of these signs. I live in the area, I walk it. Okay? Out of 500 observations, and that's one capsule of observations, okay? Those spots have been occupied more than 396 times in 500 blocks, which is over 75% of the time occupied by some vehicle. Now, it is a fallacious statement to say that there's drivers in those vehicles. Most of the observations, there are no drivers. They're delivery people who have gotten out of their cars. They're people who are doing work in buildings who have gotten out of their cars. Better solution is needed in daylighting those streets. Daylighting those sidewalks. If you look at my thing there, and I apologize, I have an injury, I'm a little bit okay? If you genuinely, it's odd that enforcement of the specified areas remains consistently wanting. Have you, the school, been complaining about enforcement of getting cars out of there? Is it on record that you've made complaints that cars are getting those spots? Do you have that?
I have a lot of photographic.
Do you have the proof that you made a complaint to the police department about those spots? Well, if you don't have that, it means that nobody's noticed. And these signs are done. They're not doing any good. Okay? If they were really genuinely needed, and you needed them there, and a better solution is what you should have than what you've got right now. Okay? There would have been complaints made to the police department. Obviously, cases doesn't make any difference whether you complain or have the signs or the area of the block. And I'm telling you that they're blocked way more than 75% of the time. I'm confident of the logic and veracity of what I see in the it's true, okay? And I hope I can depend on this committee and the community board okay, for looking to this matter seriously and not be swayed by any kind of theatrics. Okay, this is a serious matter. My suggestion is you should hire a parking guard if you're concerned. Not only that, in my observation, as is in that report, most of the children that go to that school drive up to the door.
Definitely not
Even
remotely true.
I never see any.
About
Okay,
five
let's
down
just-
this side.
why don't-
He has the floor.
Rich called the question, and I think, sorry. We're familiar with what the layout of the street is, and, this question's been called.
Yeah, I called the question.
Okay,
and you
all
seconded
those in favor?
Of
Bollards.
Requesting bollards and daylight.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All those opposed? All those abstaining? 3. Passes. Non-committee members?
Yeah, I just read it.
One pretty fit.
I'm a very fast
And one. 101. Okay.
But that way.
To do the two
And
proposals.
not to do the walkthrough and not have it listed on that.
We could do a walkthrough too. We
We probably should do a walkthrough between now and.
And you know, the point is,
We voted.
the point is that
Yeah.
the perfect should not be the enemy of the good. That comes up all the time. There are better solutions
But it
than what
doesn't
we
hurt.
have.
But it doesn't hurt to have a walkthrough. between now and-
Absolutely not. I think we should do it, and if we could come up with a better solution, that would be great. Okay.
So as long as we have that, we didn't
Yes.
vote, you know.
Yes, but I think we should always try to do good, and if we could get it better, great. Okay, you change your vote?
Yeah.
What's next?
West 65th Street.
Someone here for?
Yes, so we're gonna need
Yes.
to stay again.
Oh.
Sorry about that. This is number 7.
I did read it and I was wrong.
So my name is Dalis Castro and I work at Lincoln Square Neighborhood Center.
I'm sorry, can I have your name again?
DALYS Castro, and I work at Lincoln Square Neighborhood Center. And I have basically some pictures, and I do have some video. I don't know if you want to watch the video of the horrible conditions that the sidewalk is in, starting from maybe midway where the LaGuardia campus begins, all the way to West End. So there's numerous cracks. There's actually huge hole between the two plastic, and I'm sure there's rodents living in there and things coming. My understanding is that there was a flood a few years ago and that there was damage that came into the building from the street. And that is actually a dent in front of 240 West 65th Street.
The sidewalk is actually in front of the park.
It's in that piece right there is in front of 240 West 65th, which is the NYCHA building.
Part of it's in front of
That's
the
an
elevation. Part of it's in front of the end of the park.
So that's the-
Yes.
In front of 19.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
So there is part of the sidewalk that has been damaged in front of LaGuardia. There was scaffolding there until about maybe a week ago. They took it down and the sidewalk is in horrible condition. This part here, I've been working there since February and I think it's sinking. I mean, I kind of want to take a ruler and measure it. And if you look at the other side, it will have it. This is actually in front of the LaGuardia part where the sidewalk is raised. This is in front of the NYCHA building. There's about 2 inches of space in the top of that and the lower part of the picture. And then there's this part here. There's about, I would say 4 inches. And that's the part where I think it's sinking.
And there's also a lot of things.
Oh, I walk to work and I've seen people trip, running to, and the seniors come out of the building. There's wheelchairs that are coming out of the building. This is,
Oh, yeah.
I think, really?
Yes. Okay.
I would think it would be a night shot. They only,
well, NYCHA owns from, you see where the blue pole is?
oh, so you researched this.
It's definitely.
Okay.
And then on this side, the gate is with, on
So
It's been there forever. Yeah, yeah.
So I think you've convinced us that there's a serious issue and a safety concern. Is the next step for us to put DOT on notice and request that they make repairs instantly? And if so, should we do a resolution calling on DOT to make repairs? I call the question.
That's a no-brainer, really.
Not to cut you off, but you convinced us that quickly.
Yeah, videos, like, okay, you may.
This is enough, we got your vote.
Non-committee members.
I don't know if this needs. This isn't it. We're just gonna tell you over next to the ASAP.
We'll just add our place.
The lawsuit waiting around.
So it's gonna be a letter?
Absolutely.
We will
I will tell
contact,
our elected.
we will contact our elected officials, and we will. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll
We have no more, no, we don't need to.
Yeah, now we're done. We'll do the proposed secondary screening guidelines, then the NBA capital spending, and then the. How's that? Yes. Okay.
What's the intersection?
The problem, that's the street I was on the other day with everything. So the school is on, it's a big problem. The school is on the west side of West Head Avenue. So the street is not, and over there.
It's a good match.
So Penny, was going to school as well. All right, this is okay. This is, that's the school. That's the school. That's the school.
And I talked to
That's the better view.
And those were kids, they walk and the way they use the U-turn and left turn. And come on. I went back to all of the schools, to the principal, and they told me not. We talk about it and nobody did anything.
I didn't have your
talked to
contact.
Ellen, I called to Linda, and I talked to Jeff about the situation, and they told me that we're gonna be working on it. And, one of the projects I'm doing for the job, I'm
No, Penny, I took the picture for Penny, our district manager.
Yeah,
What we're trying to do is get these, relevant. No, it's not DOT, but the developer will put this on, that was Penny, the physical color. But
how often?
I think they can do it immediately. They've done it.
I think another month. I mean, I think the lesson is still open.
Why don't I get you?
So many schools there. This is the problem.
But there's also cover in front of the collegiate school.
Four schools there, I don't think so.
But there's another problem over there, because there's another problem, because the company, everyone's nice. This was private parking on the street. And I told him that it's going into my yard. No, but they need to keep it on the private street.
And what's your name?
I think they get a package because they posted their own sign, which is private parking, but some of them.
No, they should get it because what they've done is illegal.
Exactly. Well, free place.
Philadelphia, there's a big market for those orange, people buy them. They put them in front of the house.
Yeah.
Yes, secondary street renaming guidelines. Where is the code?
I changed some of the comments, grammatical and extraneous words. But I think there's items in D that we need to talk about. Certainly, we have given secondary street names to institutions that weren't on corners. I think it should just say on the block. And the signage should be limited, obviously, to that block. And what we've done is we've done it on each corner, one side of the block, those two corners. Not anywhere else, no. But I think this is, I don't know where that came from, the middle of the block, but it has to be on the corner. That's not what we've done. And there is something in here also that says no politicians' names. Many neighborhoods have, when there has been a beloved politician in the past, have names on sections of streets. We can continue to say no to that, but like for instance, Smith Street in Cobbleville has, yeah, I meant like Eileen Dugan, which is a secondary street name of Smith Street, which was so I think everything else is probably okay. Also, I think somebody raised the issue with, or Elizabeth, you did, the issue with 100 signatures, as Elizabeth asked, where you can go to Yankee Stadium with 100 signatures, it should say the effective neighborhood, obviously. Just 100 signatures is not good.
Also, the first part of 5B should really be 5, that the person is deceased. That should apply for all. We're not going to name streets after living people.
So you're saying 5B should be?
5B should be there's no plaque or other acknowledgement, and 5 overall should be.
Because it is people and nonprofits. It was trying to cover everything to the city.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
And that's why that's separate from the other.
And that makes sense.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Please keep us posted.
So the one change we have is 500, 100 signatures from the affected community.
Well, wait a second. What is the affected community?
Oh, there's
No.
some blocks that there's very few people on that. So
And if it's a nonprofit, then you need
there's a
people from
little
all over.
subjectivity there, but the 100 signatures is the hard and fast number.
I think that's fine.
No,
No.
we would say that in the immediate area, there's no way to define if you really
We'll
don't
know
know.
when we see it. Like, why not?
From the affected area.
So you're gonna add it from the affected area.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Keep getting changed.
Learn more.
We took what happened last spring and we said, so that's nothing. So we've had a policy of doing certain things. Last spring, I asked all the community boards that had guidelines to send them to me. I took all the guidelines from each community board and laid them out on a table and came back to this board, I think it was Mayor June, with a list of all the things that all the other community boards require. And then this board distilled them down into a document that somehow wasn't discussed until last month, and then, this was the draft, this was a different draft last month, and we used the notes that was discussed.
So, way back when we started discussing this and it was interns in the office, many of us went around and walked, biked, whatever, went around and each had a section of the district and cataloged all of the existing secondary streets. It's probably not up to date at the moment, but I don't know who in the staff would have the time to go and look at every time we pass one of these and then see that to a certain date and then, you know.
We have to start we have to get the tag already have.
Because the 10-year.
I mean, it could be done, but we have to start with the basics. Because we have a resolution for that.
How you doing? My name is Judith Sanders. My mother name is Judith Sanders. That's what I'm trying to use in the street. My mother was in the community all her life. Worked with everybody in the community.
We get that, but right now we're trying to just finish our guidelines.
Yeah, but you skipped over me.
No.
It's important that
We haven't gotten
so
to
we
it
can
yet.
get to you.
We're gonna pass this, then we're gonna get to you.
Yes, that's.
Oh, we're not, believe me, it's on the agenda.
We didn't realize it was a good.
Can we try to get this up with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
One foot.
Sure.
One foot number there. That's number 3. He got out here in a hurry before I had a chance to speak on it. I live on 94th Street, okay? And my car is parked right in front of 25 West 94th Street now. The question I want to ask is, are we liable to put like a handicap ramp in that block? Because the reason why I'm asking this question, we tried to put one in front of my building. I live at 54 West 94th Street, okay? We got a lot of senior citizens live there. And we were denied, we couldn't put it there. Are we going to be able to?
Denied by who?
I think by who we're gonna put it there?
No, who denied it?
Well, we went to the council, Governor Rosenthal, and all of them, we had meeting after meeting.
Does the landlord want to do it?
Yeah, NYCHA wants to do it.
It's a NYCHA building.
It's a NYCHA building. And 66, next door to me, it's private, okay? They had one, wasn't nothing said about that. What about the building right over 25 West 95th Street? Are they going to be able to put a handicap ramp there?
25 West 94. The one
94. Are they going
Yes.
to be able to put a handicap ramp there?
They are, because it's within their company line, you know.
Okay, that's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. If they be able to put one there, then NYCHA should be able to put one there.
Does the NYCHA building extend out as far as number 25 does? You know?
Matter of fact, the reason why we want to put one there, I don't feel too much time. We got to walk upstairs like this. The brownstone building, okay? You walk up the stairs before you get to the lobby door, okay? 66 have the same thing. 66 have a handicap ramp. Why we were denied to put one there and they had one?
I can't answer that, but is the entire block landmark?
I don't think so. Is 94th Street landmark?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a landmark.
Then
Yeah.
it has to go to landmark. You have to go to landmark.
That's what-
That's what I just said. This is a landmark building. We were unable to
What's your
put
bill?
one
What's
there.
your building number?
54 West 94th
They
Street.
can't say no, dude. That's federal law. It's federal law. They say you've got to be able to do
I can't
that.
hear your name.
Paul
We're not gonna
Johnson.
solve the issue
Paul
tonight.
Johnson.
No,
So-
maybe something unique about that building, I
Right,
don't know.
we don't know anything.
I'm
about
gonna
it.
invest.
We don't know who denied.
Okay, right, your phone number.
Because I'm a member of the Resident Association, and I go to all meetings.
What's your address again?
I have
54
54.
West 94th Street.
Write your phone number. We'll find out and get that for you.
Okay, we need to do the secondary street renamings to enable these people to
Right,
get.
that's what they
I
want.
just have a question. Why did we choose 10 years?
Because 4 years ago, we chose 10 years. We voted 4 years, 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah.
that it would be 10 years.
That was the fourth.
If
Okay,
we-
let's
say-
if we decide-
Okay, people can wait. What-
Yeah, but this is gonna be, you know, we're
That
deciding.
was several discussions, Ken, that everyone
It was a
agreed
big
on here.
discussion, we all agreed 10 years. because we did this.
I'm not sure DOT, you know, was even ready to take things down.
We'll
But
follow through.
I just want to know because I got it all right here in writing and we request for it and everything, and we gonna deny it. And 66 had one. Ever since I've been living there for 45 years. My car parked.
All right, we're gonna find out about
Wait
it.
now.
We will
I
follow
wouldn't know
through.
why you would deny it. That's what I want to know.
thank
We'll
you.
follow
Look into
through.
it.
We'll definitely follow through.
Did you leave your name,
I
Roberta?
just-
Yeah, I put everything in.
Okay. You'll hear from us.
We'll contact you.
Thanks.
All I want to know, because you're gonna ask me when I get back in the block, okay? Tomorrow, okay?
Tell them what's gonna look
Or
at.
we'll be able
Tell them we're
to
looking.
put a handicap ramp there.
We don't know.
We don't
You don't know that yet. You don't know that.
Right, we don't know that yet, but we're gonna find out and we'll let you know.
That's all I want to know. Thank you very much. I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
to cut back in, but
Okay, no problem.
thank you very much.
Okay, anything else?
Well, this is, we just have to do the resolution. So it's not this year.
Yeah, we'd like you to.
We'll call the
No, I would,
question.
I would vote against it, because I'm opposed to it.
We do that.
We got it.
Okay, the
Call
questions
the
we call,
question.
all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I think it's
6,
a bad place
All
to recognize
opposed.
people.
2. That's all committee, any, committee
All in
members?
favor
all
of
those in
recognizing
favor?
people, I don't think
Two.
against it.
Okay. Okay, we won't count it, Mark.
You're up.
Okay, you're up. Ms. Sanders?
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna let my daughter take on it.
Hi,
My name is Lauren Sanders, and I'm descendant of Beulah Sanders. I never knew my grandmother. And here's someone beautiful things she's ever done for the community. Has me up here sitting in front of you, trying to get this passed. I did not know that the pass is amongst ourselves. That my grandmother, Beulah Sanders, was an NWRO vice president, which is the National Welfare Rights Organization. She had worked with many politicians back in those times when they were still fighting for civil rights and equality for all. And even once told Martin Luther King they don't know nothing. He wanted to talk about poor people because she lived the life. Her and Johnny Tillman. And I see every time when people talk about Rosa Parks or they talk about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, how they've all been emblemed and praised in history, but my grandmother's nowhere to be seen. Of course, you see her name in little bits of stories, and finally someone had wrote a whole entire book about her. But I don't see it. Neither does my son. So it would be very important for me to have that community where she lived, where my aunt still lives in that same apartment in her name. She did.
Can you tell us the address that she lives?
What is it? And
That's right at Columbus.
right, just right at Columbus.
What's your name?
Lauren
Lauren.
Sanders. I'm the granddaughter. Well, that's the daughter. Great son, that's my wife. And I never got the chance to meet her. All her exploits and things she's done, all newspapers I have done to get to see who she really was, because I'll never be kissed. Neither will my friends.
To add to this today, Scott Stringer and her grandmother would work together with Scott. Your grandmother was
Yeah.
close. So,
She's close to pretty much a lot of politicians that's in the office now. He passed away in 1970. 84, I think. So it was like a couple of years before my cousin was born. She died basically, pretty much more of a broken heart for losing her son.
Probably we're sitting there when we had our previous discussion.
Yes.
Is there a block association on the block?
Yes.
Yes. Did they have a letter of support?
Oh, well, I didn't know I had to bring a letter of support. I could get a letter of support from the president
Also, we've had pretty much a lot of people. Yes, we have a petition. And
Really?
we have online petitions as well with 60 people that, who, you know, pretty much everybody now is dying off and whatever.
Moved out of the community, so I had to put it on the computer so we can get to the people who left the community. We got 60 votes on that, plus 80 already written down within the community.
You have other, any more articles?
We have some, we have a whole lot going around.
Yes.
Yes, we have a book, but I can bring it anytime you want me to bring it. We have books, there's 3 books that there's someone have wrote, we have 1 and 2.
If you bring it to the full board meeting, which is the first Tuesday in March.
It'll be
we can-
March
we can
6th
talk this before
at
that.
South
We have-
Riverside. Oh, Senior Center.
Oh, okay.
It'll be right here.
I'll bring you all the books.
We can bring the book.
Bring the books and we can bring the
We can bring all the books.
A committee meeting just prior to the full board.
And anything, any other documents you want, because we have a lot.
Could you email us, a reference to the book?
Sure.
Can you do that? Because like-
Yes.
You can give me your email, and I personally handle the technology.
Here, I'll give you my card and email it to me.
No problem.
Yeah. That'd be great.
It's terrible when somebody says hate thoughts.
Yes. Which is why I named in an online petition that history has a habit of forgetting people who are important too.
We had a street meeting for another civil rights activist. Yeah. They did a nice historical presentation. And we showed you on the so on that kind of.
Absolutely, absolutely. That would be a great.
So I'll call the question.
But can I just say one thing really quickly? I just want to explain my vote, which is that I think that street namings are not a good way of recognizing people. I'd love to see plaques or something where you could get more
I
information.
agree, I'm with you.
For that reason, I vote against all street naming. So I'm not in any way reflecting on your grandmother or your mother. I just want to explain that. And I also,
wish I can get more,
We don't do plaques now.
yeah, and
But he
That's why he's in
philosophical.
protective
All right, I call the question.
I have
I call the question.
I have my hand in the air.
Please, ma'am, go ahead.
Also, I want to explain my vote. The reason that Rich stated, and also there were millions of activists in the civil rights movement and the anti-war movement. I was one of them in the anti-war movement. And my objection to saying the street names is singles out one person among thousands of potential visitors.
you're right, and there,
And I'm sure your mother was fantastic. I'm sorry I didn't know her. Maybe I marched alongside her and I didn't even know it. But I just, I think there, as I said, there are many, many potential people who could be recognized in this way, and I don't think this is the most appropriate use of public space to do this. And I would just like to ask the committee, in your own words, can you explain to me why this person out of
That's why
That's why.
That's why I came to.
Because
and because she lives in our community.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you explain to me why you're
We
voting
were,
for that?
I thought we were postponing the vote to right before the full
Right.
board so that we
So I
could
could
get
go, I
these
didn't
votes.
understand. And actually, I think we should amend the guidelines, and I'm sorry, I realize it now, that we should have the information beforehand. Because
Yeah.
before the meeting, because it's hard to
Information
set the
is
meeting.
provided a month
Yeah.
before the vote's going to happen.
Right.
I have a question, since I'm fairly new to the board, and this is not really personal, but do I need to explain why I'm voting something?
No.
No.
I don't
Absolutely.
think it's appropriate that you ask people to explain why I'm
It
voting.
is.
No, you said, I
I
wasn't
wasn't-
on the board to explain
I wasn't-
why the voting is certain way. I want to know if
Yeah,
that's
certainly.
necessary.
Yeah,
That's all I'm asking.
I wasn't asking you,
Not you specific, I didn't say you personally.
I just wanted to know whether the board knew, the committee knew what it was.
We could amend the guidelines.
I think I should
We
amend the
could
guidelines.
amend the guidelines and ask for material.
Okay. Everybody,
But,
there's time to,
Nikki did call the question.
I call the
So
question.
Yeah, well, what is the question being called?
To approve,
Nikki called the question.
to approve the naming of the street for this family's deceased husband.
Nikki, prior to receiving the book.
Prior to receiving the book. I
Yeah.
read that question. There's
Well,
a
then
lot
my
of-
question stands. You all know
Can I ask
this.
you, can't you withdraw the be willing to meet
I
15 minutes before and do it then after we have all the
How about amending it to just
What?
say,
Why don't we, what we've done sometimes is we said once we vote on condition that we see the material and we see
yeah.
that.
Right.
Rather than have to show up 15 minutes before,
Yeah.
Right.
on something that,
Well, but maybe we can just dispense it to everybody electronically.
yes. So why don't we call the question
Conditional approval.
on condition that we receive materials?
Receive materials and
so
they're.
that everybody can understand?
Can I ask a question? I mean, I know that you want the books, and I have no problem with that, but we have given you material, and we have given you
There's a
proof
lot of
of
stuff.
what?
But I haven't had a chance to look.
Okay, we can send this material.
Just
I can
send
make
us stuff
copies.
by email.
Once
Okay?
you, well, you can keep all of it. I have all the copies on my hard drive,
So you email.
and I will email you.
Yeah,
Well, okay,
every
here's,
book.
we have a plan, everybody. We have a plan.
I will email you every book that I have
Lauren
ever
is
had to
gonna-
look up
Lauren is
for
gonna
my
email
grandmother.
Sandy.
Email
massive-
email to office@cb7.org.
No,
and they'll
Lauren's
send it
gonna
to us.
email to me, and I'm gonna email to the
Distribute it.
committee,
Okay.
to make it much simpler. So, let's,
Let's
the
vote
condition
on a
that we're gonna
conditional,
look at the
a
material.
conditional approval
The
based on.
chairs of the committee can always withdraw it prior to the meeting if it doesn't come out.
And I took a
got it.
look at
Okay.
it.
So the question is involved.
All those in favor? 3, 4, 5. All those opposed? One abstaining.
I'm gonna abstain because
Two
of
abstaining.
out of respect for
Non-committee
you.
members, all those in favor? 3.
Yes.
We're done. Just
Thank
make sure and send us. And if there are a couple of
Thank
important articles, we can go as well.
I will actually. Would you like to keep those?
Yes, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
I have more. No, you can keep. We have them all. We have all of the articles and some.
How old is your son?
He's 8. His son 8.
Is he paying attention or is this?
No,
not-
no, he was falling asleep. He had just came out of school. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
good night.
There have been a bunch of articles. Anyone who is, has their head in the opposition has read about the some of the capital spending. For instance, they did a recent extension of the line in Paris, and it was $450 million per mile, and the Second Avenue subway was $2.5 billion per mile. These are according to the New York Times. That's $125 million per block. It just sounds excessive, and the Second Avenue line, the MTA spends roughly according to the New York Times, 7 times as much per mile as most other major cities. So I just wanted a quick discussion and potentially a resolution calling on the MTA to do something to try to bring their expenses more into line with other major cities.
And I can tell you what they are doing to do that.
Oh, that's a lot.
I don't think there's much discussion there.
Let me
I mean,
just
it's very
say that
clear.
in the case of the Second Avenue subway, this is not a defense, but something like 70% of the buildings along Second Avenue told the MTA that the construction was causing their buildings, undermining the, and so they actually had to do repairs on that. We also had Governor Cuomo demanding this be done in an extraordinary period of time, so there was lots of overtime. They had a $70 million contingency plan, totally used up, went up to the $120-some-odd million contingency. Things do cost more in New York. When Helen Rosenthal brought this up, I said, have you checked DG and DEP and see how their subsurface costs compare to other cities? And she said she was going to do that. They are also doing something about their procurement process. They're doing, as you heard from the gentleman earlier, they're doing design build, which saves time and saves money. So they're well aware of this. There's also some labor issues. I think the new administration at MTA is working on those labor issues because there have been excessive personnel requirements prior to now.
The only comment I would have is that I was just impressed a couple months ago, going to subways all over the place. Their subways have been dug under buildings much older than ours,
But they don't have
much
to
more
many people over
fragile.
there to do it.
Where?
in Paris.
They're the concentrate.
That's been like dogs around.
Yeah, just,
Okay, where's the
But I work at the building on the corner. of the-
they don't have as many people. It's not as-
And it is like we work with back and stuff. And I don't know what he does use for them. I just found that
Well, we obviously want the money used as efficiently and intelligently as possible. It shows that, you know, we're worried that the excessive, I mean, on a board, I thought it's gonna have to think. Go ahead.
No, I think it just seems so out of line with other world cities. And it's not like we're less efficient, we have more people, it's 10, 20% more, it's 4, 5, 600%.
Like they're building a subway line in China that's going to take whatever, it's going to serve like quite a number of people that have the subway line over decades.
Well, I mean, it's happening because people are making a lot of money. Money isn't going nowhere. And what revenue comes the contractors, no. The contractors sit down with you and neither of them have the benefit cost.
And who's to say that the contractors aren't getting together and saying, don't bid on this one, we'll give you the next one, we'll take this one. You always have the same contractors. You have the same car.
So my question is, what's being done with this?
There's a whole procurement working task force to reach out to other applicants, not just to have the same one.
But what about the
They're well aware of that.
people at the table have no intent? How about getting somebody at the table? I haven't seen somebody at the table who has no incentive.
But rushing it can lead to a 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% overrate. We're talking several 100% overrate.
Well, you got to blame the governor on that and what Ken said. I mean, they were trying to rush this thing through, but then they had to repair those buildings that were affected.
When you say it's rushing it, in China, they do it much faster.
Yeah, but they don't have to repair buildings.
Can I just say something
about Paris or London?
But here's something that's very obvious to anyone that hasn't noticed. You're all talking about world capital city. New York is not the capital of the U.S. They have the entire network of government helping those projects along. We do not.
Wait, back up. We're not?
We only act
But it's really a matter of cost control. And,
yes.
Yeah.
And that's, whether it's half as many people riding the subway as Paris, you still have to take the subway. You still have
and we
to
actually
go
had
to
an advantage from Second Avenue because Manhattan has bedrock, which is relatively easy to tunnel through. If you were doing in the Bronx, for instance, where you don't have bedrock, you're pushing up.
a lot of water. Howard's going to write a resolution because it's his idea.
It's my idea.
And you know what? Please put in it that the more each individual project ends up costing, the less necessary expansion we are able to do. Because there's a finite amount of money. That should be the.
Well, that's why it's a company
project. That's the key here.
There's nothing.
The next 6 years?
Well, Andrew's better than I, but the big subway project.
Well, phase 2, 96, 1.5, yeah, that's going to happen. They're already doing exploratory tunneling and work on phase 2 up to 125th and Park. Phase 3 brings it down through Midtown, and then phase 4, if we live that long, takes it down to Hanover Square.
Is there going to be accessible with a walker?
And you may have heard that Governor Cuomo has asked for an under-harbor subway tunnel longer than the Battery Tunnel to connect to Red Hook, Brooklyn, when there's less than a mile from the Smith Street subway at Carroll and Smith Street to extend it to Red Hook. In fact, many Red Hook residents can actually walk to Smith 9th Street. That would be the most improper use of our choice resources that even everyone at DMC agrees with that. No, I don't. That's not part of it. The focus that you're talking about, spending the money intelligently, making projects much more cost effective, no more.
Use best practices from other cities. Yeah. So you write something and how we.
So I will write it on
Okay. And how will we adopt it?
Just send it out and let everybody.
And we can do it electronically.
No, we can do it. We could vote tonight on the thing.
It's just like we did on this secondary street meeting. Okay, all those in favor of resolution calling for the funds to be spent as efficiently as possible? No. Okay.
Can I bring up a little new business?
Sure, we're in the new business.
Mark, are you voting?
Oh, aye.
Oh, hi.
3-0-0. Okay.
And Elizabeth and I will grab it.
Two quick items of new business. If I tell you that 50 people ask me every week why we can't have a tax station at the corner of 98, the northwest corner of 98 and Broadway, where it always floods every time it's in.
Northwest corner?
In the west corner, where's any stable place? You know, when you stable, it's right there, and you need a boat test. I mean, it's just impossible.
Sunday.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. So, can we ask somehow to get a tax station? The other thing is I'm finding out as I go to Freedom Place every Wednesday night, the same, they have put up signs in all the city streets in Freedom Place that this is private parking by permit only.
And we
Roberta
got,
showed us those signs.
we saw those signs. The problem is it is private.
Those are city streets?
No, this is
Not
the
yet.
stupid thing. So, the, all of Riverside South and Riverside Center, so that includes the two Freedom Places.
Yeah.
Not the section, if there's a section in between, there's the park over 64th Street here.
But 62nd Street and 63rd Street. They all say-
63rd, 62nd, 61st
Yeah.
are still have not been mapped.
Those buildings have to get a certain percentage of C's of O's for the street
No,
to
no,
get mapped.
they're getting ready, they came to parks in the fall. They're getting ready to, but once they're not turning the street over until they've completed the work that they need to do in Riverside Center, because they don't want to have to do with the regulations. It's like Rockefeller Center. Rockefeller Center owns the streets mid-block. And now they've cut them off to traffic, but they used to let traffic on them except for 2 days a year so they can maintain the private streets. Now they just block them off for no traffic on them. So the Riverside South Corporation, whatever it's called there, has not turned these streets over to the city. So Freedom Place, north of 66th Street, has really nice signage because when they were doing those buildings, and we were working with the developer, the construction people put the signs up. Unfortunately, we don't have that relationship with them.
So I'm gonna get a parking ticket if I park there?
Seriously.
Wait, so it's privately owned?
Well,
Wait,
only because of hormones.
Oh,
so it's privately owned, but the NYPD gives tickets on,
Yes.
how does, yeah, why is the NYPD enforcing private land?
Have they been deputized?
Well, maybe the way to do this is for Kenny to write a letter.
No, Kenny,
I wish
this is the
issue had
issue
come up
before
when they
the,
had the precinct commander.
no, this is the issue that came up with this woman, Angela, who, because I walked down, last week, it was freezing cold, and I was trying to, that's not my pictures actually. My hands out of my gloves, and I was literally shaking it so cold. But there are no signs in front of Collegiate that this is a school. There's no signs in front of Pier 191 that it's a school. There's no sign.
The schools don't want signs
no,
made.
Collegiate now has a sign that says no parking during school hours. That's all it says.
Okay, that's new.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, we've only been seeing it a couple of weeks.
right. So anyway, Kenny just goes to, I'll remind Kenny to
Yeah.
tell the stuff.
Mhm.
No. Having surgery.
Finally.
Well, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, because when the people drive down is handicapped. And
I have to drop her off.
they've been trying to find parking space.
It's okay. I know. It's hard.
Ken?
Two things. I'm not co-chair of the person and we're having a discussion on
So February, I will be in Florida.
February 26th of September.
The other thing is, we have, as a board,
Before you get to it, have you seen this presentation?
I saw it preliminary.
And DOT was at the meeting? That was an incomplete presentation, but okay. We'll have to-
They talked about it.
That's DOT coming in.
Yeah. And the other thing is, we as a board voted for protected, for a redesigned street from 59 to 100%. We got one from the section. The section below 72nd is essentially a super highway. Road going by multiple streets and by houses. And it's the new station to there's no reason that I can see it in the traffic lane, that the lane is less
You can see, north of Seventh, near, when you get near the post site, that's pretty amazing, because the congestion there is unreal.
well, you can theoretically see that.
Maybe you can speed up to 70, but
First is no
middle of the night.
there's no reason why you can.
Well, what does DOT say about the finishing of that complete street?
Well, that's my question.
Well, I thought she would be here with us on it. We'll raise it. They've been coming to meetings just about every month.
That was part of our.
We can find out what the status is for sure. Okay. I think part of it has to do with what the guy from BBC said this morning, because they have to open and do water work.
They have to finish the water, that was,
7071,
right,
in that whole bow tie area.
there's still, there's still the water.
But that doesn't stop them from doing 59 up to there.
Well, let's find out, we're gonna have, Andrew and I are having a meeting with, people from,
I think that's it. Thanks all.
Thank you.